Hello everybody, my name is Chris and this is my channel Barnon 11970. Thank you as always for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And with a couple of messages I've gotten, I want to make sure even a person that's never heard of this before gets at least a basic understanding of what's going on now and what could basically destroy our freedom of speech on the internet and how we have a chance to all save it if we prevent what the government is trying to do from happening. So we have until December 14th of this year. And make no mistake, even if we stop this from happening, they're going to keep doing it. And they're going to try and keep it as low profile as possible. So the one thing I want to ask before I get into what web neutrality really is, and I'm going to keep it at the very basic, we need to talk about this. We need to share this. Whether it's my video or somebody else's, it doesn't matter, and we need to participate. And I'm going to give you a couple of ways to be able to do that. But first, I want to go over what exactly this is, and I'm going to give just a brief description of it, so it's not getting into major details. Net neutrality started in the year 2015, and the basics behind net neutrality is it's a basic principle that considers the internet a public utility, which is open for all on the World Wide Web. And it prohibits internet service providers, or ISPs, from speeding up, slowing down, or even blocking content on the internet. And it also prevents them from breaking the internet up into little pieces, and companies like AT&T, Verizon, Time Warner, Google, Amazon, etc. divide it up and start charging you for different packages. So as of now, I mean, you have to pay to get online, but once you're online, you're free to roam anywhere you want without it being slowed down or sped up or blocked. Well, that's debatable these days, especially if you've been on YouTube for a little while. But they could, as you could see the images, they could create these packages. So if you want to be on eBay, you have to get a particular package. If you want to watch Hulu or YouTube, you'd have to have another one, because we know they would make this like your cable providers. And as you know, wherever you are in this country, and I don't know how it works in other places around the world, but it will affect people, there are so many different packages, and they're never going to combine everything that you want into one package unless it's incredibly expensive. So you may see these and think, oh, that's no big deal, $5 here, $10 there. But what if you have to buy 10 different packages to get all the things that you want? What if places, because most people are going to want eBay, they're going to want PayPal, they're going to want to get Skype, they're going to want to get things like Netflix and YouTube, you know, and Yahoo, for example, for your emails, they know that the people want those, so they're probably going to put them in different packages or make it quite expensive. So this is the part that should anger people. Because the average person out there, if you ask them, do you want to keep the internet basically free for all with no companies coming in and charging you, I can pretty much safely say that 999 million out of 100 million people, or 1 billion people, whatever, would say, yes, I want to keep it free. So this basically was started by Obama. And right now, the FCC chairman, and his name, and forgive me if I get it wrong, his name is Ajit Pai. He was brought into power by Trump. So this should show you, ladies and gentlemen, whether you are a Democrat or a Republican. We fight amongst ourselves all the time, and that's what they want. But you could see just by this event alone, they work together because they will profit off of this, because these companies are going to pay lots of fiat currency to make this happen, which means they're basically going to, quote unquote, donate money to people's campaigns. And that's going to be both Democrat and Republican, because remember, both parties have to approve this. You have to have a majority in the House and the Senate to make something either become law or to take away something that was law. So there's going to be a lot of bribery going on. They're going to call it donations or contributions. But make no mistake, whether you're Democrat or Republican, this should show that at least in this government, and I'm sure it's plenty of others around the world, they will make us argue amongst ourselves and fight amongst ourselves and make it seem like they're both enemies towards each other. They both profit off of us fighting amongst ourselves. So this was started by Obama, which is a Democrat, and this is going to continue through Trump, which is a Republican. So make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, if we keep fighting amongst ourselves, they are basically, what they want to do is make it a pay-to-play internet, where they can slow down or speed up your internet based on how much fiat currency you're willing to spend. And they have the ability to even block channels or websites from ever seeing the light of day if they allow net neutrality to be repealed. And that is the vote they are going to be doing on December 14th of this year. Now, I'm sure many people have never heard of this before, or they heard about it and they didn't really know what the importance is. Well, there's a reason for that. And you won't see a lot of coverage in the mainstream media because these companies that want to take over the internet, most of them also have large chunks of the media in their pocket. So they control the information. And this is something I've been trying to tell people all the time. And maybe this is a blessing in disguise that this is happening, because when you take away people's freedoms, and internet freedom is a part of freedom where you have freedom of speech, people will react when it's being taken away from them. And sometimes people wait until the last minute to be able to do that. So what I want people to realize, because you need real eyes to realize, that if this goes unchecked, what you see on the screen right now could possibly become a reality. And what that's going to do is people that are very rich will never have a problem with the internet, because what do they care if they have to spend a couple of $100 here and there? Doesn't affect them when you're making millions or billions of dollars. But this is going to affect the lower class, the poorer people, and even the lower middle class. Because if you now have to pay your gas bills, pay your electric bills, pay your cell phone bills, pay your original internet bills, put food on the table, heat your house, all these things, and now all of a sudden you have to add all of these extra fees just to visit different places on the internet, a lot of people may start to disappear, because if somebody had the choice of, well, I have to feed my family and keep them warm, or I have to go visit Hulu, it's a no-brainer what people are going to do. So YouTube one day could be you have to pay $5 every time you want to visit it, or a weekly, monthly package. Some people may not be able to afford that. And I've heard many people say, well, I'll just give up on the internet. Well, that's what they want, because then you'll watch mainstream media news, or at the very least not get information that at the very least questions what they try and tell you. And this is what this is all about. This is slowly taking steps to take away your freedoms. And they only do a little bit at a time, because if you do a little bit at a time, people may not notice. It's like somebody having a bank account that has $10 billion in the account. Well, if you take $10 billion out of that account, that person's going to know it, and they're going to do something about it. But if you take $10 here, $20 there, and I don't recommend anybody stealing, but they may never even notice it. And you could take out hundreds of thousands of dollars without anybody knowing about it. Again, not something I recommend. So the way governments and corporations work is they slowly take your freedoms away, doing little things here and there that may irritate you, but not enough to do anything about it. So what can we do about this? Because this is something that's already in effect. Net neutrality already is here. This is why you're not paying to go on individual sites. You're not paying to check your emails, etc. But they are trying to repeal this. And that is only for the benefit of corporations and governments, because the corporations will be allowed to take control of the internet and charge whatever they want. And the government's people that allowed this to take place will be getting their pockets very well greased. So this is all about money. This is not about protection. This is not about safety. This is not freedom. This is all about greed and silencing truth. They already do that on YouTube. I have plenty of people telling me that they can't subscribe to my channel even if they hit subscribe, or they get unsubscribed all the time, or they don't see videos that I post even if they have the notification buttons alerted. They try and hit the like button and it doesn't work. They are already slowly taking away people's freedoms. And if they get to the point where they can charge you left and right, and they'll tell you in the beginning, well, you'll have competitive services, and, that's what's going to keep the cost down, so even though you're paying a fee, it's going to be minimal. Well, didn't they say those very same things with Obamacare? Talking about, oh, well, you could pick your doctor, you could pick your program, there'll be plenty of choices. And that may be true in the beginning, but it definitely will not stay that way. They want to create monopolies where we, the people, suffer while the corporations get richer and richer. And the only reason and the only way that these corporations can get richer and richer is by the governments, the people that you supposedly think are on your side, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or an independent. You find out that they're not on your side. They're there to keep their jobs. They're there to make as much money as they can. They'll pretend that they love you. They'll pretend they want to help you and protect you. But make no mistake, Democrat, Republican, Independent, what have you, they're there to profit, and they don't care about you as much as they pretend. It's like a spider trying to be friendly with the fly. It may sit there and pretend to be all nice and have it come a little closer until it gets stuck in its web and it has a nice meal. There's a reason why cattle get fed very well, because you want to make sure you treat your product right before you slaughter it for consumption. So how do we fix this? Well, this is what I recommend. First of all, you have to get this out there. And that doesn't necessarily mean sharing my video, because I could care less. As soon as this is, before it's even processed, and I have videos proving it, YouTube is already going to label this as unadvertiser friendly, and they're going to make this very difficult to get out. So without you sharing it, there's nothing I can do. But what can you do? Well, first thing is, either share this video, make your own video, type it on Facebook and Twitter, talk about all about net neutrality, awaken the masses. Because we, the people, determine if things get passed or not passed. The reason most things get done is because we don't understand or understand our true power of what we can do to create things or stop things from happening. Consent is not always agreeing. It's sometimes saying nothing. And that's why they want people not educated in these things, because they want to make sure out of sight, out of mind. So another thing that you can do is you find out who your local senator, your local House of Representative member is, your congressman, all of your government officials, and you tell them you want net neutrality not repealed. And you tell them that you will not vote for them, even though votes technically don't count. But you have enough people saying, we will not vote you in again. We will not reelect you. They're going to lose their job? I don't think so. Because in the end, there is no honor amongst thieves. And if somebody in the government realizes that they're going to lose their job, which means all of their bribery is going to be gone, all the little deals underneath the table will be gone, their power will be gone, you think they're going to allow that to happen? They're going to save their own skins. They're going to save their own necks. So you contact your local congressman. You contact your local senators. And all you have to do is go to Google, while it's still free to do, and type in, who is my local representative, and just type in your state or your zip code. Find out, because there will be, your representatives will have email addresses, they'll have phone numbers. And if enough people call them and email them and protest this, we could stop it from happening. But keep this in mind. Even if we succeed on December 14th and they do not have the ability or enough votes or enough politicians to step in and overturn or repeal it, they are going to keep doing it every chance they get, which means we need to stop them every chance we get. So this is not a one and done deal. Like I said, this started with Obama and it's continuing with Trump. So what does that tell you about your government officials? They want us to hate each other. They want us to be divided. They want us to be focusing on ourselves so they could slip these things under the radar. So by the time you realize they're there, they've already been created. So even if it passes and they overturn it, People better take them to court. People need to fix it. So this should show people how powerful they really are by not staying silent. Like I said in my last video, and like many people said, do not go quietly into the night. So I don't want to make this video too long. Look at the screen. Is that something you want to end up dealing with? Because I guarantee you, if that was a possibility, those prices are going to skyrocket over the years. They'll do a little bit here and there. And they do want you slaves. But that doesn't mean you have to allow it to happen. You can control this. You can fix this. Do not be silent. Do not think your one voice doesn't count. You call your local congressman. You call your local representative, and you demand that they do not repeal net neutrality. You teach people. You talk about this at the water cooler at your office. When you're out partying with your friends, you ask them, hey, are you familiar with net neutrality? Do you understand what they're trying to do? There is not one person that you will talk to and you mention this and they'll say, you know what? I think I do want to pay extra to go on different sites. I think it's a great idea that companies like Time Warner Cable or Verizon or Google or Amazon, who are already multi-billionaire companies, get to block certain channels that I may want to watch. There's not a person in their right mind that would ever agree to that. So what does that say about Obama? And what does that say about Trump? How many people are saying that Trump is the savior? He's sent from God. Give me a break. They are both there to take away your freedoms so they can profit from it and become more powerful. And they get their alignments not with the people, but with the corporations who give them all the fiat currency they need. If we want to continue to stay silent, they're going to take this away, and it's going to not stop there. Like I said, they take these things in little bits and pieces, so you don't really notice it, or it's just a minor irritation. Just imagine being bitten by one mosquito. It might hurt. It might sting. Might be an annoying thing. You might not like it to happen, but it won't be the end of your world. But just imagine if 1 million mosquitoes all bit you at once. Well, you'd be dead. So keep that in mind. This is how governments work. They do things a little bit at a time, so either you'll never notice it happened, you won't care enough to have it happen, or it might be enough to just get you to complain a little bit, but you'll still participate. You'll still give them your currency that you have to work for to create, while they get currency by just typing numbers into their bank accounts. You can't do that. They can do that. And that's why they will always be wealthy, and we will get poorer and poorer until one day we finally stand up. And they want us to wait until it becomes so pinned down and you feel so closed in that you'll want to get a gun and shoot people or burn down buildings. It's exactly what they want. They want you to become violent so that justifies them creating more laws and protecting you from yourselves. People don't need governments to control them, and yet most people are dependent on the governments. And they know that, and they want that, because you'll keep voting them in. They'll keep making the money. Not only the money that we pay them as taxpayers, but all that underground and all that under the table and all that greasy palm kind of stuff from these businesses and corporations who have no problem donating a couple of $100,000 or a couple of $1 million to a senator or a congressman or some other politician to make 20 times that amount in profits from it. It's time we make a stand. You contact your local congressman. You contact your local senator. You make this aware to everybody, family, friends, Democrat, Republican, and you show them that they're working together on this. If Trump is supposed to be the savior, why did he hire this FCC chairman, Ajit Pai, or whatever the heck his name is, to want to destroy the internet? You think it's going to benefit anyone other than businesses and corporations? Is this going to benefit you? How many people listening to this right now think that paying extra for websites and having them slowed down or sped up depending on how much you pay for and having websites blocked is a good idea? How many of you think that? If you think that's a good idea, thumb down this video. If you think you want a free internet, If you think you don't want businesses to come in and take control, if you want to have freedom of speech, hit the thumbs up button. Let's see who pays attention and who wants to do this. But if we all sit back and say nothing and wait for somebody else to do it, nothing will get done. And this will end up being repealed, and you'll regret it because you'll never get the freedoms that we have now. So don't take them for granted. And sellouts like Google and YouTube, they're not going to promote videos like mine and others that do this. They're going to promote all the prank videos and the makeup videos and the video game type of channels to distract you and keep you from learning the truth. The media is not going to talk about this. And if they do, they're going to make it so you're scared and think, oh, I need to have this. Because they're not going to talk about the prices. They're going to talk about, oh, it'll be very competitive and the competition will keep the price down. Yeah, until you see one corporation buy another and take it over, as we see all the time. Just look at Disney. Look what they've done. It's not a full monopoly yet, but it's getting closer with every purchase. If you don't think they'll do that with this, you're crazy. But they want to ease you in. Don't let it happen. So it's up to you guys. So hopefully this helped you be a little bit more educated about net neutrality, what it is. If you want to learn more, just Google it and learn as much as you can. But know that you have the power to make this not happen. So that's up to you. So thanks for listening. Please share this video. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Check out my videos. And if for some reason after a couple of weeks you don't see a video notification from me, come and check my channel out, because YouTube's going to try very hard to make sure channels like mine hardly get to see the light of day. And I promise you, if you enjoy the internet for its freedom of speech, you don't want this to happen, because then channels like mine and others will just disappear into the night. And then all you'll get is CNN telling you their version of the truth. And I know smart people like you guys and girls don't ever want that. Thanks for listening. Have a great night. And let's show them the power that we really have. United we stand, divided we fall.